Have you ever broken a law without even knowing it? In some parts of the world, you might already be a criminal just for walking your dog the wrong way, wearing the wrong shoes, or even chewing gum. Strange? Definitely. But these laws didn't appear out of nowhere. Some were created with good intentions in mind: public safety, cleanliness, cultural respect, while others are just bizarre remnants of old times that nobody bothered to repeal. Every country operates under its own unique set of values, traditions, and history. Sometimes those cultural quirks find their way into the legal system. What seems totally normal in one part of the globe might be completely outrageous in another. Imagine getting fined for feeding pigeons or arrested for not flushing a public toilet. It's the kind of stuff you'd think was made up, but it's not. We often think of laws as serious business, and they are. But when you start digging into the legal oddities around the world, things start to feel more like a comedy sketch than a courtroom drama. These rules are often funny, sometimes frustrating, and occasionally a little scary. But they're always real. So buckle up, legal eagles and curious cats. We're about to take a wild trip through the weirdest laws that real governments actually enforce, or once did. Welcome to Strange Laws Around the World, where weird is legally binding. When people talk about Singapore, they often mention its cleanliness, efficiency, and futuristic skyline. But behind that spotless reputation lies one of the world's most famous and strangest laws: the ban on chewing gum. Since 1992, bringing chewing gum into the country without medical authorization has been illegal. The ban wasn't made out of thin air. In the early 90s, Singapore was facing a sticky situation, literally. Vandals were sticking used gum on train doors and elevator buttons, causing technical malfunctions and cleaning nightmares. The government responded with strict regulations, banning the sale and import of chewing gum entirely. This law sparked international buzz and even drew criticism for being overly strict. But Singapore stood firm, citing public cleanliness and civic discipline as key reasons. It wasn't until 2004 that the law was slightly relaxed, allowing pharmacists to sell medicinal gum like nicotine gum, only with a doctor's prescription. Today, tourists are still advised to leave their chewing habits at the border. Singapore's chewing gum law might sound silly to outsiders, but it reflects the nation's commitment to order and respect for shared spaces. It's not about being anti-fun, it's about being pro-clean. So next time you fly to Singapore, keep the gum in your suitcase, or better yet, just spit it out before you board. Imagine this. You wake up in the middle of the night in your Swiss apartment, tiptoe to the bathroom, and do your business. But wait, can you flush? In some Swiss buildings, the answer might be no. That's because in some regions, flushing the toilet after 10 p.m. is discouraged, and in rare cases, banned by building rules. This isn't a national law, but it's a real regulation in some rental agreements, especially in older buildings with thin walls. The reasoning? Noise pollution. Swiss people take quiet hours seriously, and toilet flushing is considered disruptive. These Ruhezeit, quiet hours, are sacred, and breaking them could land you in trouble with your landlord, or at least with your very grumpy neighbor. What counts as a disruption during quiet hours can vary. Some leases ban vacuuming, showering, or even wearing heels after a certain time. The idea is to ensure peace and respect for all tenants. While it may seem over the top, the Swiss aren't alone in prioritizing noise control. What makes this law stand out is just how specific it gets. Of course, not every Swiss apartment enforces this rule, and it's rarely monitored by the actual police. Still, it shows how seriously the Swiss take shared living and community respect. In the land of chocolate and neutrality, flushing your toilet might be the loudest controversy you'll ever face. In the small French village of Le Lavandou, there's a law that made global headlines. Dying is illegal. Yes, you read that right. In 2000, the mayor passed a decree forbidding residents from dying unless they had already secured a burial plot in the local cemetery. Sounds absurd? It was meant to be, because the town had run out of space to bury its dead. The bizarre law was the mayor's form of protest. Le Lavandou had repeatedly requested permission to expand its cemetery. but the government denied the request due to land zoning restrictions. In frustration, the mayor declared the tongue-in-cheek ban on death, stating that violators would be severely punished. The irony was not lost on the media or the residents. It's not the only place in France with such a decree. The town of Sarpurenx passed a similar law in 2008. Again, the motivation wasn't to control mortality, but to shine a light on bureaucratic red tape and challenge national inaction. These symbolic bans were attention-grabbing, and they worked. They got the issue onto national news and put pressure on officials to respond. Of course, nobody was ever arrested for passing away. These laws weren't really enforceable, but they were real, and they revealed a uniquely French way of using humor, satire, and protest through legal channels. In le Lavendu, the message was clear. If the government won't give us space to die, we'll legislate against dying altogether. In the bustling streets of India, amidst the honking rickshaws and weaving scooters, there's one unlikely figure that commands total respect: the cow. In many Indian cities, traffic will come to a complete standstill, not for VIPs or ambulances, but for cows calmly strolling through intersections. Why? Because in Hinduism, cows are sacred animals, deeply revered as symbols of life, nourishment, and gentleness. As a result, hurting or disrespecting a cow isn't just socially frowned upon. It can carry serious legal consequences. In several Indian states, laws protect cows with strict penalties for harming them, and this reverence spills over into everyday life, including traffic behavior. Drivers, pedestrians, and even traffic police are often seen patiently waiting while a cow decides when and where to cross the road. There's no honking, no rushing, just respectful stillness. It's not unusual for people to feed the cows mid-traffic or offer prayers if one crosses their path. This cultural practice might seem chaotic to outsiders, but for locals, it's second nature. It's a striking contrast. In a country advancing rapidly in technology and infrastructure, the cow still reigns supreme on the roads. This law, both legal and cultural, is a reminder that in India, tradition and modernity often exist side by side, harmoniously. So, if you ever find yourself in Delhi or Varanasi and a cow stops traffic, don't be surprised. In India, respect for the sacred includes 4 legs and a steady walk. In a small town in Poland called Tuzin, a beloved childhood character caused a political stir. Winnie-the-Pooh was banned from representing a local playground. The reason? He doesn't wear pants. That's right, the honey-loving bear was deemed inappropriate for children by local officials due to his lack of trousers and dubious sexuality. In 2014, during a town council meeting to decide which cartoon character should be the mascot for a new children's playground, one official objected to Winnie-the-Pooh's wardrobe, or lack thereof. He claimed that the bear was half-naked, and therefore not a good role model for children. The debate spiraled, with some council members even speculating about Pooh's gender identity and psychological state. What began as a practical decision about playground branding turned into a full-blown moral debate. While many laughed at the absurdity of it all, others were genuinely outraged. Eventually, the council voted against using Winnie-the-Pooh as the mascot, citing concerns over his indecency. The incident made international headlines and became a symbol of how seemingly trivial decisions can escalate into public controversies. It also reminded the world that cultural norms vary greatly, even in something as universally loved as children's cartoons. While most of the globe sees Pooh as a cuddly, harmless bear, in Tuzin, he was momentarily a fashion criminal. Who knew a lack of pants could spark such drama? In the fashionable and fast-paced city of Milan, Italy, there's a law that's as surprising as it is cheerful. It's illegal to frown in public. According to an old regulation still technically in effect, Milanese citizens are expected to maintain a pleasant expression at all times, unless they are at a funeral or visiting someone in the hospital. The origins of the law date back to the 19th century, when city officials believed that smiling promoted civic harmony and emotional well-being. The rule was part of a broader campaign to instill optimism in Milan's citizens during a time of social and political upheaval. Though rarely enforced today, the law still exists in the city's legal code and is often referenced with humor and pride by locals. The idea that one must smile in public may sound absurd, but it reflects something uniquely Italian: la bella figura, or the beautiful image. In Milan, appearances matter, and this law aligns perfectly with the cultural emphasis on poise, elegance, and charm. Being grumpy in public just isn't chic. While you're unlikely to be fined for a gloomy face in 2025, you might still get a reminder from a cheerful stranger or an old signpost urging you to turn that frown upside down. In a city famous for fashion, art, and design, Milan's smiling law is both a quirky remnant of history and a reflection of a deeper cultural desire to stay beautifully composed, no matter what life throws your way. In the eternal city of Rome, Italy, where history echoes through ancient ruins and piazzas, even dogs have legal rights to happiness. One of the city's lesser-known but heartwarming laws mandates that dog owners must walk their dogs at least once a day, or face a fine of up to 500 euros. This law, introduced in 2005, is part of Rome's broader effort to promote animal welfare. Officials believe that owning a pet comes with moral and civic responsibilities, and that includes giving dogs the exercise, stimulation, and companionship they need to stay physically and mentally healthy. The rule doesn't specify how far or how long the walk should be, but simply insists that daily outdoor time is non-negotiable. It's not just about bathroom breaks, it's about quality of life. In a city filled with fountains, parks, and charming cobbled alleys, Rome offers the perfect environment for daily strolls that benefit both pups and their humans. What makes this law stand out isn't just its caring premise, it's how seriously many Italians take it. Dog-friendly cafes, off-leash parks, and even churches that bless pets are part of daily life. Enforcement may be rare, but the message is clear. If you adopt a dog, you must commit to joy, not just shelter. This law reflects a deeply empathetic view of animals, one where they are seen as companions with emotional needs, not just property. In Rome, to love a dog means to walk a dog. Rain or shine, no excuses. In the ultra-clean city-state of Singapore, personal hygiene is taken so seriously that even flushing the toilet is a legal matter. That's right. If you use a public toilet and fail to flush it, you can be fined up to SGD 500, about USD 370. This law, passed under the Environmental Public Health Act, is part of Singapore's rigorous effort to maintain world-class cleanliness standards. Public restrooms in Singapore often come with signs reminding users of the law and automatic flushing systems to minimize violations. But enforcement isn't a myth. Plainclothes inspectors from the National Environment Agency have been known to check toilet stalls and hand out fines on the spot. The law may sound excessive to some, but in Singapore, it aligns with a broader philosophy. Cleanliness is a shared civic duty. From its famous ban on chewing gum to its spotless streets and tidy MRT stations, Singapore's obsession with hygiene has turned it into one of the cleanest cities on Earth. What's most interesting is how well it works. Tourists are often stunned by how immaculate even the busiest public bathrooms are, and locals take pride in contributing to the country's image of efficiency and order. The flushing law is less about punishment and more about a cultural contract. Everyone plays a role in keeping the city clean. So next time you're in Singapore, remember this rule of thumb: flush and go or pay and woe. As we explored laws from Japan to Switzerland, Singapore to Milan, one thing became clear: every unusual rule has a reason. These laws may sound strange at first, but they're rooted in the daily lives, beliefs, and traditions of real people around the world. Some laws are there to protect culture. Others promote harmony, safety, or even kindness. Whether it's a rule about keeping toilets clean in Singapore or showing respect to cows in India, these laws offer a glimpse into how different societies choose to live together. What might seem funny or extreme to outsiders often has a meaningful story behind it. A smile law in Milan? It reflects the city's positive spirit. A ban on flushing toilets at night in Switzerland? It shows the value of peace and quiet in shared spaces. These laws aren't just about control. They're about community values and shared respect. By learning about these legal quirks, we see how rich and varied our world truly is. They remind us that law isn't just about rules. It's about people, places, and purpose. And sometimes, it's also about keeping things a little more fun, a little more human. So next time you visit a new country, keep an eye out for its unique rules. You might be surprised by what you learn, not just about the law, but about the heart of the culture itself. Because in the end, even the weirdest law has a story worth hearing.